nsọ gị Chukwu ka anyị na-abata, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Anya bịawa ịsọpụrụ gị ugbu a, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Bịa o bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Bịa o bịakwute ya, bịa o bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Chukwu nna n'ụlọ gị ka anyị na-akpọ gị, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Otito na-adịrị gị mgbe niile, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Bịa o bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Bịa o bịakwute ya, bịa o bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Ụmụ eliwa yikọta n'otu, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Ka anyị jikọfe ya ofufe Gọdian, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Bịa o bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Bịa o bịakwute ya, bịa o bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Gọdianism bụ ịhụnanya n'udo, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Butere anyị ụzọ kpetara anyị azụ, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Bịa o bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Bịa o bịakwute ya, bịa o bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Bịa o bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Bịa o bịakwute ya, bịa o bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Bịa o bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Bịa o bịakwute ya, bịa o bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Ise ya
Come to the Most High and find peace. I used to remember when we were children. Welcome. Before I get started, I welcome you to Chism Live, where we have conversations about who we are as a people, our spirituality, direct communication with Creator, right where we are. Chineke is. Welcome. I'm Okedibia Dr. Wonyo Husimere. It is my pleasure to welcome you to another session of this wonderful African spiritual tradition of connecting directly to the Creator, wherever you are. It is my pleasure to welcome my co-host, DB Ochwaja Utemezu on your hand. You didn't day wo.
Okay, Matthew, go.
Oh my goodness, I'm doing well. You know, that song, just you remember when we were kids, we were to go to church in Enugu. You know, oh, that was my favorite thing. And then you have everyone in church. Yeah, everybody. You have the whole choir singing all of that. I miss all of that. I really do.
It's one of the things when the song plays, you know, some of these gospel songs that we had, you know, or spiritual songs actually. I always think about I didn't know. I mean, it just kind of brings it, and I just, you know, it's like I know you can't recapture your childhood, you know, but somehow, somewhere, at least I'm allowed a little bit of time to reminisce, you know, go back and think of just what a good childhood that we had, minus the Civil War, even during the war and everything. I mean, everybody is usually high on their parents, right?
Yeah,
but our parents were something else, one in a million, man.
Man, we had Ahai and Noah. You know, we are all that we are because of them. All that we are. You know, I am so grateful that they taught us to be proud of who we are. Not to say that nobody else has the right to be proud of who they are. No. But that, you know, part of being godly, part of showing love for the Creator is to appreciate who we are. So I just want to start today by asking people to follow us live, Chism Live on YouTube. Again, if you have not subscribed, please do so, and follow us live on Chism Live, also on Facebook page, and Global Faith Ministries of Chism, Godianism on Facebook page. Okay. So we have a guest that's supposed to be here today, but when he does arrive, we would welcome him. You know, Traja, I wanted to talk about. I have a woman that I counsel, and her biggest issue is that she's not loved. You know, that she's just not loved. Her girlfriends don't love her. I mean, she just doesn't feel anybody loved her. And so during this session, I'm sharing this because I feel it applies to all of us, you know, and that is for people to understand you're already loved. The supreme love is Chineke. You're already loved. You don't need somebody to love you. You know, if you understand that you are loved, there are no qualifications that you have to meet. You're loved just the way you are. You don't have to do anything special. You know, you have to do anything in a special way for Chineke to love you. You see what I'm saying? The only thing that is ever required of you is to be who you are and feel good about it.
And love yourself.
That's it.
You have to love yourself, because if you don't love yourself, man, I mean, even expected, Chineke will always love you, whether you realize it or not. You're a child of Chineke.
Yeah.
But experiencing love in the world today starts with loving yourself, because loving yourself is going to determine how your light flows out to people around you and how they receive you. So I don't really believe that you know, when people say I'm not loved and all that kind of stuff, I always say it has to start with self-examination, right? Self-examination, how you treat people, how you respond to people, right? How you process what is said to you and how you reply. Do you bite your tongue? What expectations do you have of yourself, number one, and then of other people? If you love yourself and you press the right buttons, say the right things, do the right thing, live your life the right way, it's almost next to impossible for people not to love you.
Love is not a reward.
Even if they don't love you, respect.
The only thing, see, love is not something you can use to trap or be trapped. You can't use love to trap anything or anyone. It's not even yours to give. You know, it's not even yours to give. You don't have the right to say, well, I'm not going to love you because of so and so and so. It's not even yours to to give. It cannot be withheld from you.
No.
Love can be withheld from you. See, it's all a psychological thing. It's all understanding the most we have it. Chineke's love is unending. It's not judgmental. That's where you start. You know, once you understand that. Once you understand, and that's why, you know, I sent a video. I don't know if you watched it. It was a young people that was in 1956. There were young people. That was the first time this young white boy had an opportunity. They were like 17-year-olds, high schoolers, and they were in a debate about prejudice, okay, and racism. And well, you have to remember at that time. So these young people must have been really well read for the kind of arguments they were making. But the fascinating thing is that the young man from, it used to be called the Gold Coast, you know, at that time, which was a guy. I mean, what intelligence. And he was emphasizing that the only reason why the Europeans are there is not to help the people. It's to take from them. At that time, he was saying you were taking from them. And unfortunately, the people don't even see. They don't love the things he was saying was showing that he himself was confused about who he is, because he said, if the Europeans had not come, we Africans would not have, you know, we would not have been able to be civilized. So now that they brought us civilization and we know what to do with it, now that's why the Gold Coast is civilized. I mean, that argument right there spoke volumes about self-love. He didn't see that people had the capacity. Somebody had to be brought it to him. But guess what happened though? The younger South African was making it clear to them that we didn't have the capacity to lead, to mix with them. Look, you have to, when you watch that, and you must take the time to watch it, you can really appreciate, wow, the young man, the young South African, he loved himself.
Yeah. The
rest of them, they loved themselves, except they kept, well, the young man from Ethiopia just said that he's not African. He's just a bronze Jew.
Whatever works for him, man. Whatever works. I mean, this is the opposite of self-love.
Oh my God! Then you had the younger Muslim gentleman. He was just 17. He says he could not communicate with Christians. He didn't want anything to do with Christians. They can't eat together. This, that, and the other. Africa belongs to the Muslims. All of that. The argument was always, it was someone else gave us something. We don't have it. We didn't have
subservient,
it. You know,
subservient point of view. You know. Always coming from a society, just saying that something, because one of the biggest detriment, again, when you talk about self-love, and I think we have to hop on this just for a second, and I just want to bring something out for you to kind of see where I'm going, which I'm sure you do already, but everything starts with self-love. Everything.
Yeah.
Believing that you're not a mistake, you're a divine creation. You believe that Chineke created everything. So if Chineke created everything, then your presence in this world is divine. Right?
Divine.
And then you have to define yourself. You have to have, for us Africans that have been through the slave trade and colonization and all that, right? You have to have courage to question everything. Questioning everything requires courage. You have to look at how you are defined by others, those people that colonized you. How are they defining you? And then you have to look at the majority of us that have accepted that definition of who we are. The reason why I'm saying it is because all human, how do you say, everything about life, sorry, I'm lost for words, but everything about life stems from religious behavior and religious thoughts. All human systems. That's the word I was looking for. are products of religion. Those that defined you, when they engage in their superstition, right, and their theory of the origin or their belief or whatever thesis they write for themselves about their origins, they present it in a scholastic way as mythology.
Yes.
It's mythology. So it's academic. It becomes this big castle in the sky. We mythologize everything. Zeus, Odin, Aphrodite, blah, 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 blah. We put them on this pedestal of mythological fantasies as valid. But when Africans profess the same mythology about creation, the same mythology about deities or spirits, it's called superstition or witchcraft. We have internalized this negative definition of who we are. And have put their mythology on a pedestal, impugning our own worth and credibility. So that's why you see young folks like that talk the way they do, because nobody has ever had this simple conversation. What is it about mythology that is different from African mythology? If you want to call it witchcraft, if you want to call it superstition, whatever, it's mythology, not superstition.
Is it not? Yes, it's the same thing. Yes,
it's the same thing. So you have to ask yourself, what is it that we're doing that is different from what they're doing, and vice versa? It is the same thing. It is how you see yourself and how you present your own story instead of being hung up in telling somebody else's story and then elevating their story above yours. It's like clothing. You know, it might look crazy to you. He's got a suit on, I have an African outfit on, but it's clothing.
That's right.
Got a hat, that's right. On. It's a hat. You have long hair, I have kinky hair. It's hair. There's a reason my hair is kinky. It has to do with my geography.
The other thing
go ahead.
The other thing I wanted to say is, you know, you have people who they don't even believe that this connection with this love connection with the Creator exists, because they always like to be fooled. You know, somebody says, you guys do some shiny stuff. Wait a minute. You guys do some shiny stuff. You guys do that. I'm not gonna lie to you. See, when I lie to you, Chineke is watching. I have to be true to myself. I want that love connection. So I'm not going to sit here and create weird things to make. Why do I need to do that? Why did I need to lie to you? I'm trying to tell you, from you to Chineke, there's no distance. Stop believing all those lies. I don't want to show you shiny stuff and frickle this and tell you, this is, you know.
Hey, even if you showed me shiny stuff
or talking weird.
Here's why I said that. Even if you show shiny stuff, you want to convince me that, you know, there's this there's a level to mythology and superstition and magic and all that stuff, and the one that I do does not equate to the one that you do in Europe or in your religious thoughts, because mine is inferior, mine is voodoo, mine is magic. Well, let me just bring up a couple of magic and voodoos in other religions, and I'll focus on one, because as Africans, we're suffering from one specific or two specific theologies that have kept us just messed up in the head. When Jesus Christ walked on water, was that magic? Was that some kind of supernatural hocus pocus or whatever? When he fed 5,000 people with a loaf of bread, was there some kind of magic with that? Or when he turned water into wine, was some kind of voodoo? When Jonah survived in the stomach of a whale, was some kind of magic involved in it? If, as an African, I start to tell you about my spirituality and some of the magical things that happen in my theology, wouldn't you accuse me of witchcraft? You will validate somebody else's mythology and witchcraft, but you will not validate mine, even though it's the same thing. If as a black man I walk on water, would you call that a miracle from God, or would you call that voodoo? Magic.
Let me call that. Hey, look.
Yeah. I mean, let's get real now. This is
what
this is the thing that gets to me. Go ahead.
The focus, human beings, I don't care if you're African, I don't care if you're white, blue, purple, or green, I don't care where you come from. When I gave birth, I gave birth to my children. I love the children that I birth. You have children that you birth. You love them as well.
Yeah.
Okay? You don't come and pick my children over your children.
No.
Why do we think God Chineke does that? You see what I'm saying? It's not going to happen. You love your children as from you. Mine came from me. I love them.
Yeah.
Why would we now say, no, now UD, leave your son and daughter, come and love mine instead. Yours are inferior.
Ain't that something?
Nobody does that. This is what we do. This is what we do when we don't appreciate ourselves and understand that that love that Chineke has for me, Chineke has it for somebody else. Instead of me focusing on that love for myself, it's a waste of my time to be focusing on telling you my way is better. My way is better. What I'm telling you, what we do here in Chiism is to tell you, you are okay.
Yeah. Spiritual tolerance.
Tell me who you are. Yes, tolerance. Because I know that the Creator loves you just the way you are.
Yep.
Because there's no way that I will pick someone else's child over mine. I mean, if it's a child that needs, there's a different kind of love. I can love you because you're a human being and because everybody needs to be appreciated and recognized as, but I'm not going to love you over mine. I can't let mine suffer while you thrive. I can give you the space for you to thrive, but at the same time, I must understand our mind. It is the same way with Chineke. All of us are loved equally, just as we are. We don't need to have to do anything special for Chineke to love us. I mean, if we indeed believe that the creation was from the Most High, then is Chineke that powerful? If he makes mistakes, if you're a mistake and you're saying Chineke omnipresent in everything, knows everything, but somehow he made you inferior. Why? Where was the lapse in the power there somewhere?
Some people,
and then he made you say, "Dang, Chineke made you and said, oh my, what a mistake." Okay,
I put you in the oven too long. I put you in the oven too long. Just burned it. Let me try another one so that I can have it just cooked just right. Yeah. There it is.
That's it. The only thing that is required of us, for those of us who are religionists, look, let me tell you very honestly, being a religionist is not, jumping, speaking in tongue and all that stuff. No. Spirituality sometimes requires that you get quiet. You be still. We say, listen inwardly. You will hear. You will hear the Spirit speaking to you. If you can't take the time and be silent, sometimes you just have to push the noise of the world out of the way so you can reconnect. We need to be connected to Chineke for us to find ourselves. Like my friend, this young woman I was telling you about, she's so sure nobody cares about her. No, all that kind of stuff. And I told her, you know what? Nobody can love you if you don't love yourself. First of all, understand that supreme love is already there. It is, let me tell you part of what love is. Love is inhaling and exhaling. That's the most powerful love. And who's giving that to you? The Creator.
Yeah.
Love is the skin color that you have. There's a reason. There's protection in the skin color. Don't hate it. That's love. That's the ultimate love. Did you give any human being that? It came from the Creator. Love is your skin. Love is your hair. I like this wide look.
I mean, that's what I am. That's natural beauty.
Yes. The way you hold up your head, the way you smile, the unique way you laugh and cry, everything about you, the way you move through this world, that's love. Because the Most High is allowing you to do all of that. The Creator has never asked you for credentials. You're not supposed to present anything for love. You don't have to, not your present. There's nothing you have to present for the love that you're getting. And anyone in the world that's expecting more from you than Chineke expects from you does not understand love.
And you should step away from those people.
Step away. Being a spiritual being is being able to embrace all that you are. That's spirituality right there. Embrace all the. If you step out of the house, you say, Adamoma. I'm good. That's love. Just acknowledging that you stepped out of the house. That's love.
That's it.
Just giving thanks. When we pray over food. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. I'm just trying to kind of hop on the last statement you just made. Because the Chineke that we seek is in us. Not an old man in the sky, not somewhere celestial. The Chineke that you seek is in you. That blessing, that behavior, do unto others as you like Chineke to do unto you. You can turn around and say, do unto others as you like others to do unto you. But the God you seek is in you. You're like God to your fellow human being. So whatever blessings, whatever you expect from the Creator, you must first be willing to do the same. Because the Chineke that you're seeking is in you. The faint voice that you hear, your conscience telling you what to do in times of trouble, what is right and what is wrong. None of us ever embark on a positive or negative behavior without this little third person or second person in our mind telling us, do it or don't do it.
Yes.
If you don't listen to that third person, then you're pretty much a mental case. Or if you don't hear that,
I want to read
your mental. So, Mandubuchi, you're like God to your fellow human beings. Do unto others as you would like Chineke to do unto you. The God you seek is in you. So be godly, so that your light and your love will be pushed out there, and you will experience all the love in the world that you want. It's just the way it is.
You know that song that says, Ademochani Mobin, the Kwansoni Memo, Ginigeme Kandindo, Garigarachi Mozi. What is that song? It's not saying, what Ginigeme Kandindo, Gariga Udiozi. It's cheap. You see what I'm saying? What will keep me from doing what I was put on this earth to do? Because the blessing is already there. You know it. But you've been taught not to know it. Because the object of that, see, there's power in that. I want to read something that Ukuna Charles said, and I'll read some of the comments that the other participants wrote. I think it's very important. Yes, doctor, I agree with you. We don't have to do anything special for God to love us. That was why I left the other system that teaches that you must sow before your Father will bless you, which is not true. For instance, I can't imagine Uncle Yudi expecting a Mecca to give him something before he will pay his school fees. I see it as foolishness. That's right. That's right. Chineke doesn't expect anything from you. As a matter of fact, that's how I say what love is. Love is getting up in the morning and you have breath.
Yeah.
Love is being. I was watching a video today, Yudi. I mean, I cried for this guy. This guy weighs 1,000 pounds.
Woo.
1,000 pounds. And he made a promise to his mother that he's going to lose that weight. When they came to pick him, did you see it? Well,
no,
he made a promise. Yes, it's amazing. He made a promise to his mother and his family that he is going to come out of this. He's going to come, and he just started praying, just asking, just telling the Creator, I didn't pay attention to my body. I didn't pay attention to this this body that is a reflection of you, this temple. But I love me. I love me. I'll love me. I'll recognize me as a product of who you are, and I'll start respecting it. So they came and they picked him up. And they took him to the hospital. He had difficulty walking. He was huge.
Yeah.
1,000 pounds. You know what? You know what that is? But you know what? He just kept saying, I believe in me. I believe I can. I know you love me. Chineke, I know you love me. You will see me through this. I love my. Do you know he weighs 210 pounds today?
Whoa, that's really
200
dramatic.
From 1,000 to 210 pounds. Self-love. Well, he was now prepared. See, before he was looking for validation. He thought he had to be like this person and be like that. And when he wasn't all that, right? He gave up on himself. He just started eating. Just started doing whatever. Missing out on family time and everything. So when you're prepared, when you are prepared to love yourself, you see, that is when good things happen. When you are prepared to love yourself, you cannot depend. Just like Ukuna was asking, would you expect your son to do something for you first? No, your son knows you love him. You're gonna do it. You will do for your son because you love him. He doesn't have to do anything other than he's going to school, and that's it. And that's the same thing with this guy. You take care of your body. Love yourself, and I'm with you. I'm gonna use myself. I want to share this with you about myself. I had this whole notion, I'm getting older, all these aches and pains, that comes with being older. So I'll take this pill and that pill for the pain to go away. But that wasn't loving myself, because if I had taken the time to read all that was in that mess I was taking, I would have found out that I was hurting myself. That I was hurting myself.
Let me guess. It's a call from Nigeria.
A call from Nigeria at 10:33. You were supposed to be here. We'll talk later. But anyway, the bottom line being, once you begin to love yourself, then, God already loves you. It's for you to decide, am I ready to accept this love? Because if you're doing the right thing, love will just keep pouring. So now I stopped. I was telling you the story. Now I stopped. Now that I have stopped taking those painkillers and all, I'm telling you, I can't believe myself, because I wasn't loving myself enough to do the work of understanding. You got to do this, you got to do this, you got to eat better. Once you start doing that, the love of God starts to show. The love of Chineke starts to show.
Yeah.
Yes.
I just to kind of add to what you're saying, because there's a level of responsibility that is involved in spirituality and spiritual thought. For people of African ancestry, I can only speak of, for us, religiously speaking, we have just really been deviated from the path of rectitude, from going straight and seeing things the right way. And that's based on the influence of Abrahamic religion that tries to separate us, to separate you from the Almighty Chineke, thinking that you are not one with the Almighty Chineke, that you don't walk with Chineke, that Chineke doesn't live in you, that Chineke lives somewhere else. Most of the issues that we have spiritually as Black people of African ancestry is because of the notion that we are separate from Chineke, which isn't the way we used to think about a relationship with the Creator before Islam and Christianism came to our shores. What we're telling you today is the God you seek is in you. From you to Chineke, there is no distance. All human blessings, all spiritual blessings, all God's blessings flow through somebody else. If I prayed for $100 to pay my phone bill today, and I woke up in the morning and I said, Chineke, biko, nyenemaka, tamkwa telephone bill, God, please help me pay my phone bill. I prayed in the morning. Then I called Okedibia. I said, Okedibia, do you have $100, please? Could you help me pay this phone bill? And Okedibia helps me pay this phone bill. Chineke, God has answered my prayers through Okedibia. All God's blessings come through somebody. It doesn't fall from the sky. If you pray to win the lottery, there's a level of involvement that you have to have for you to win that lottery after you pray to Chineke that you want to be blessed with a lottery win. And your part in the universe is to buy the ticket.
Go buy the ticket.
That's right. That ticket, it doesn't matter how much praying you do, you are not going to win the lottery. The God you seek is in you, and it's almost entirely dependent on your actions. Anything outside your actions is a miracle. And that doesn't come around every day. So don't sit around waiting on a miracle. Become the Chineke that you seek. Do those things that you're supposed to do to get Chineke's blessing. It may not always be the case, because bad things happen to good people, good things happen to bad people. But you at least want to have a level of control of karma, which pretty much flows out of every action that you take. You might hurt somebody to make a lot of money. Excuse me, you're living the good life, but somewhere along the line, you will pay for it. Yes. You might pay with your health. You might pay with your loved ones dying. You might pay the price with something, but you're going to pay some kind of price.
Yes.
So be the Chineke that you seek. Do unto others as you love Chineke to do unto you, because Chineke's blessings flow through somebody else. If you want love, give love. Whatever it is that you want,
it's that simple.
Become it. And you will find out that even if you don't get the response that you want, but spiritually, you will be a satisfied person. You will hold your head up. And if somebody asks you, you say, I did the best I could. I am blameless. You just want to be blameless. That's it. I did the best that I could in line with Chineke's commandment of Biri can biri, live and let live. Do unto others as you like Chineke to do unto you. Every human being has the right to worship Chineke in the way they understand without bitterness.
Yes, and that's the thing. And that's the thing. That's the thing, Dibia. People need to understand that what Chiism is professing, what we're propagating, is not leave what you're doing and come and be with us. No. That's not what we're saying. We know, let me tell you, we are preaching to a particular choir. We're preaching to people who understand that self-imperative. Without that, you cannot love someone else. Can you know Wemaka first? If you're drowning and you see somebody floating down the road and you want to save them, but you can't swim, You both going down. You got a problem. You got to work hard to uplift yourself, because only after you know how to swim, only after you know what to do, can you help somebody else.
Hold on. You'll get back to what you're saying in 1-2 seconds. When you get on a plane and they're showing you how to do the gas mask thing, what do they always tell you? You put the gas mask on yourself first before you put it on your child.
You're right. We are suffering because the things that hold us together, we are tearing it up. We're not saying that anybody is bad, and that's the challenge that people have when we are talking about our spirituality. It is our spirituality that is innate.
Yes.
In us. It's of who we are. And as long as we take it off and put something else on that doesn't fit, we are going to have difficulty walking. When your clothes are supposed to fit you properly, that's when you're comfortable. But when you're always trying to have someone else's thing, it doesn't mean they're bad. It doesn't. And I want people to understand that. I have nothing to do with who you choose and what you choose to believe in. What I say, however, is, hear what I'm saying. Nobody says my mama's soup is bad. You see what I'm saying? Because that's what nourishes you. That's what feeds you. If you reject your mama's food, you're going to starve, because that neighbor may not give you the right thing to eat.
Yep.
They may give you a bag of chips, but your mom just cooked something good. But no, you prefer what the neighbor is eating. They're eating chips, so I got to go eat chips. What we are saying is, look at who you are. Look at what Chineke made for you so that you can survive. Look at it. Look. The world is it's a global world. There's so much we can learn from each other. But the tragedy is when you abdicate what is yours and throw it in the garbage can, in the garbage bin, and then somebody picks up your garbage and goes and changes it around, brings it back to you. You pay money for it, and you think you got something new. That's something you had in the first place that you threw away. They just went and put a little trim around it and brought it back, and you paid money for it. For us as a people to be whole, to be as successful as, if you look at China, the Chinese, they believe in their own spirituality. The Indians do. Everybody who embraces their spirituality, they do well. It doesn't mean that, I've read the Bhagavad Gita, I've read the Bible, I've read the Quran. That's my PhD. You have to read all those things.
Natural theology.
That's what you have to read those things to understand. You see what I'm saying? So there's nothing wrong with learning about people. There's something wrong with that. But the day that you abandon yourself, the day that you abandon who you are, not only are you saying that Chineke made a mistake, now you tell your children they're not good. Wait a minute. Before you say that the children, you're telling your children you yourself, you're not good enough for them.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have what it takes to train them. You don't have enough spirituality in you to feed them their spirituality. Everybody else does. So this love we're talking about is already given to us. It is us who are throwing it away, and we're feeling bad about who we are because we're throwing it away. We're throwing the love of Chineke away. I may not come here, Tibia or Traja. We may not come here and speak in tongue. We may not jump up and down and scream and stomp. We may not do all of that. Hey, you may find it boring to have to hear the truth. I'm telling you.
I got to tell you a story. You just said about speaking in tongue.
The point I'm trying to make here is you cannot, if you have a drum and you know how to drum so people can dance to your music. But you can't have a drum and sit there and someone else brings their drum and they start drumming and people start dancing to their music, and you start criticizing. Look at them. Look at them. They're over there dancing. But you had the drum. You could have taught them your own music. You could have taught them your own steps. You didn't. You sit back and you criticize that they've gone next door. That's what we refuse to do. We refuse to sit and have other people beat the drums so my people go dance over there. I want them to dance over here because this is their music. This is their culture. And then after they understand their culture, if they choose to go over there to dance, it's okay. As long as you come back home. As long as you come back and do, and appreciate what's yours. All right. Before you say anything else, Nosferatu says, they make ours out to be villains, yet still and use ours to their benefit.
Absolutely. That's the idea.
Look, if you, let's say you're in Nkporo and you have yams, what animal eats yams?
Usually
the goat, right?
Yeah.
The goat. Now you know the goat eats yams, right? But you've gone and worked hard and you went and got your yams and you put it in a plate and you leave it in the middle of your yard. And you've seen the goats going around and eats your yam. Who do you blame? Who are you going to blame?
Yourself.
The goat or yourself? Yourself open for your stuff to be taken. You have nothing to say. Go ahead now.
Some of the stuff you said, it just, I remember, first of all, let me say this. In African spiritual philosophy, there's an understanding that the divine calling of education is human, know thyself.
Yes.
Let me say it again.
Yes.
The divine call of education is human, know thyself.
Know yourself. Mm-hmm.
It is only in relation to your culture that your education has meaning. Don't tell me you're educated by a professing somebody else's stuff. Or most of everybody else stuff. You're looking good in the mirror, and you step outside in your Rolls Royce, but in your village, your mama naked. Your mama has no clothes on. That's the African. That's how we sent to preach stuff, and then we just go nuts about it. I went to church one time when I first got to Dallas, Texas. And I went to church, and they were trying to call me. A friend of mine, invited me to go to that church, and they were trying to call me to Jesus. And the pastor was speaking in tongue, and people were falling all over the place and all that. So it was my turn to walk up and get the and all that stuff. So I stood there and I looked at the preacher and I said, I said it in my language. He said, you're lying to the people. Then I turned around and I asked him when it was my turn. I asked him, did you just understand what I said since you're speaking in tongue? They kicked me out of the church.
I bet they kicked you out.
I'm telling you, in Dallas, Texas, they kicked me out right there on stage, kicked me out. I asked a very valid question. You over here, I'm speaking in tongue and doing all that. Then I asked you something in my language. If the tongue that you're speaking includes all the languages in the world, then you should know what in the world I'm asking you. And I'm asking you as a Nigerian Igbo man. What did I say? I got kicked out. So I just need to tell that story just to get it out of the way. But it really is important for us as people of African ancestry to stop demeaning our own beliefs and practices based on the narrative of the conqueror. You just can't look down on yourself. If you can't uplift yourself, who do you expect is going to uplift you? Not your colonizer, not your tormentor. For as long as you're walking around confused, they're going to take advantage of you. They're going to take advantage of the most important natural resource that you have, your mind. Brain drain. I'm not talking about oil. I'm not talking about, uranium, copper. I'm not talking about the minerals. timber. I'm talking about the brain drain.
Yeah.
As long as you allow somebody to define you, you will never understand the concept of nation formation, nation building, and nation management. You will never be like Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia or Dubai in the Middle East. You will never catch up. What's going to happen to you is you're going to be seeking better pastures outside of your own environment. You're going to be like us. You're going to end up right here in the United States. You're going to end up in Europe. You're going to end up in China. You're going to end up in some countries that under normal circumstances, you would never even think about ending up there. Yeah. And you will help build them. Your brain and your mind will be transferred outside of Africa to some other continent, to some other country, to somebody else's world, and you will build them, retire, have your children over there, and never come back to help build Africa. The same mindset permeates every African community all over the world. It doesn't matter if you're Jamaican. It doesn't matter if you're African American. It doesn't matter if you're Nigerian, Haitian, from the Caribbean. It doesn't matter where you are. If you're an African, you're suffering from the same level of inadequacy, seeing the world as a victim, learning your history from a victim's perspective, from the perspective of subservience, never seeing the contribution that you made to human behavior before you were colonized or, excuse me, enslaved. There's a whole lot more to the African than our experiences under colonial rule or under slavery. It is time for us as African people, understanding that all human systems are products of religion, to go back to our primordial core, to understand who we are, so that we could chart a better course or future for the next generation, because without them, we are nothing. Self-love. Courage to question everything. It's very important.
And everything good.
Everything
good is already ours. There's a song that we sing. Everything that Chineke gives us is good. It's beautiful. There's nothing wrong. Nothing wrong whatsoever. You know, life is such that there are certain things you're going to hold on to. And there are certain things you're going to. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay? There are certain things that you have to hold on to. And what you hold on to is what is the most critical thing for your existence. Number one is your culture, who you are, is number two. Your culture, believe it or not, your culture is what holds you together. Because when the culture is all scattered, you have confusion. Look at what's going on in on the continent. Confusion, because we have abandoned. The reason why, well, they have not abandoned being Chinese. The Europeans have not abandoned being European. The Indians, everybody who's doing extremely well, they have not. Just a minute. Just a minute. I was going to do that in a minute. Yeah. Do you understand what I'm saying? So when you hold on to who you are, you can still learn from other people. Doesn't mean you can't learn. Yeah. You know, you can still learn and still be who you are. And what Kwame is saying, Kalfani is saying, the ego have never looked down upon a turkey and said it wants to be a turkey. That's right.
Yeah.
You don't look to other people and say, I want to be somebody else. You see, you can be who you are and just elevate yourself even more as who you are. Not leave who you are, and then you want to be something else. Now, you may become able to regurgitate. That's why a lot of, when I keep saying this, when I teach my students, if you give me resource your writing, okay, your report, and I don't see one African thought in there, if I don't see that you researched an African person in the same field, you're not getting an A from me. You're not getting an A because you didn't do research about yourself. What do your people think? Can you represent that? Can you reflect the thoughts of your own people?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Now you will find that all the textbooks, all the texts that have nothing to do with you, and then you quote them, and then somehow I'm supposed to be excited. You wrote a paper, but none of the references, you don't reference anyone that thinks like you, that looks like you. That is not education. That's miseducation. So we need to start. Yes. But you know what, Yudi, I've got to be honest with you, and you all know this. You can't talk about what people are doing to you when you allow it. You can't. Absolutely. It's like when we make noise about our government. Oh, our government is bad. Who put them in there? Who put them in there? Who's embracing the nonsense?
You're a reflection of your
leadership. So you can't complain. Yep. That's it. If you love who Chineke has made you, you want to preserve that. You want to make sure that whoever you put in office is going to preserve all of this. You don't put somebody there that will abuse you, abuse your children, abuse your resources. But then after they've given you money and you pocketed it, then you go behind and talk about them. You don't see them. That's how they steal, they go. But you put them in there. You accepted them
because they promised you $20 or a bag of rice or something like that.
And tomatoes, a bag of rice and tomatoes, and here we go. You know, we need to look at ourselves, embrace ourselves, and love ourselves. And once we can do that, once we are comfortable with being who we are, then it's okay to learn from others. There's nothing wrong with learning from others. It's a global world. But if you can't learn from yourself, if you don't appreciate who you are, trust me, there's no learning that you can get is going to uplift this. No, it's going to undermine. You always be in the valley. The only time you get to the mountaintop is that you take you, not someone else, to the someone else's idea. You take your idea, you take your people, you take your culture, you take what makes you who you are. And if you want to get to the mountaintop and see Chineke, you better come there like who you are. Because if you come up there and you're talking all that nonsense that you say, who are you? And you are who?
Not only that, if you ever decide, you know, when you, like you said, when you're embracing all this hogwash, if you ever decide to test Chineke and separate yourself from Chineke, and you don't believe that the Chineke you seek is in you, which means a little bit of common sense on your part goes a long way to validate the assertion that Chineke lives in you. Here's an experiment for the audience. Next time you get on a plane or you decide to jump out of an airplane, do it without a parachute. But you will find that while you're making that decision, a voice is going to be telling you, "You stupid." The other one is going to say, the same voice is going to say, "Put a parachute on." If you don't have to jump out of an airplane, use a parachute. Now go ahead and test Chineke. Because in the end, you're going to be the one, through that faint voice in you, telling you what to do in times of trouble, how to make the right and wrong decisions. It is that voice in you. It is that Chineke in you that is going to tell you, pack a parachute or don't get on the plane at all.
That's right. That's right.
From you to Chineke, there is no distance. You are in control of your own destiny, both as a person and as an African. So let's get out there.
We cannot complain about how it is when we are now willing to do the work to right the ship. You know, we're coming to the end of the show, and I just want to end with this thought, and then you can end it. I want to remind everyone of African descent, and I'm not talking about anyone else because they already know who they are. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I'm not talking, I don't need to preach to them. They already know who they are. And whoever who is, they know who they are. I'm talking about us. There is nothing, my brothers and sisters, that we want that Chineke has not already given us. There's nothing that we want that doesn't exist. We want air, it exists. Isn't it? We want air, it exists. We want rain, it exists. Everything that we want exists. There's nothing any other group of people have that we cannot have.
Or we don't already have.
Or that we don't. Well, if it exists for somebody else, it exists for you. There's nothing more powerful, more sacred than we are. I'm not saying other people are not sacred. That's not the point I'm making. I'm just reminding us we are sacred. We are sacred beings connected to the source. We need to stop ridiculing our people, ridiculing our culture, ridiculing our ancestors, ridiculing our mothers, our fathers, the great-grandmothers, great-grandfathers. Stop ridiculing them by refusing to embrace what they gave us. We're looking for friendship elsewhere. We are our own best friends.
Yes.
We are our own best friends. Our crown has been, I say all the time, our crown is already bought and paid for. Just put it on your head and step. Holy boldness, that's what it calls for. Right now, we need to walk in holy boldness because Chineke has given us that boldness to walk with. When we refuse, that's when people take advantage of us. When we refuse to walk in our grace, to walk in our who we are, African pride. That just don't mean you wear African clothing. I don't mean just that. I don't need you to just wear African gele. That's not just what we are. I want you to think as an African. And if you think as an African, you remember so many people passed away. So many people died to give you what it's African. So I'm talking about your ancestors who passed away to give you life, that laid the path. Now we need to walk that path. We need to stop being apologetic. We need saying it's someone else's fault. We need to look in the mirror. That's my message today. Look in the mirror. You already love Chineke.
I hear you. I hear you. In excuse me. In Chiism, Guardianism, as the great Ahai Keo Konyoha would say, love is the highest religion. Love is the highest religion. You need love, self-love specifically, and communal love to build or form a nation, which is lacking in African global communities. Nation formation, nation building, nation management. Africa has a lot of issues, or we have a lot of issues with tribalism. Then it's amplified with Abrahamic religious strife, specifically Islam and Christianism, the Achilles heel of the black man and woman, the Achilles heel of Africa. Those two Abrahamic theologies have removed us so far away from who we are that we don't love ourselves anymore. We justify our worth by their standards, the standards that they've set for us. So we're like folks running around in the desert waiting for rain when you could be in the jungle and get all the rain you want to. Love is the highest religion. Preach love and live love. Love yourself first. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. It is this love and appreciation for the diversity in humanity that will lead us as Africans to the promised land, that will promote the unity we need to be able to form a strong African nation globally, build African nation globally, and manage that nation globally. It doesn't matter if you're Haitian, if you're Jamaican, if you're British Black, if you're from Nigeria, Kenya, South Africa, it doesn't matter where you come from. If you're an African, then you are going through the same mental issues that all Africans, for the most part, are going through, which is unhealthy, which is the lack of appreciation of who God made us, of our primordial core, to understand that our history is not just from a subservient position of what happened to the Africans. Who and what were we before the European and the Muslim came to our shores with the Quran or the Bible? We must mitigate this scholarship so that we can again discover who we are and become great again. That's all I got to say.
Fantastic. I want to add this gentleman, Chidozie Okoro. We see your head, but we don't see anything else. Chidozie.
Yeah.
Hello.
Can you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you?
We can
hear me.
Oh, okay.
Yes, but unfortunately, you came in rather late. The show has ended. This is what is ending. What I want you to do is, ladies and gentlemen, this gentleman is it was supposed to be our guest, but was not able to make the show on time, technical difficulties. But I just want him to introduce himself, and he will be our guest next Sunday. He has a lot he has to share, but if you take the time, Mr. Okoro, and introduce yourself and tell them what you're going to talk about next Sunday. Can you hear me?
Yeah, my name is I can hear you loud and clear. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, we can.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Yes, we can. We can hear you.
Yeah, my name is my name is Chidozie Okoro, professor of philosophy, specialized in theology. First researched on Kant's ontology, critiquing it, and trying to organize it using the African ontology. In the process, I went into alpha studies, and I started developing a methodology of mind, which I call a phenomenology of life force, or alpha phenomenology. So is to discuss divination as a process of investigation, an epistemological process of interrogation, interpretation from a pure Igbo perspective. And I'm also studying the Yoruba issue to look at the difference and then similarities, and to develop that, build a logic of history, evaluating African history from a pure African perspective. That's what I'm doing for now. So along the process of developing, I have developed and supervised projects in what I call integrative metaphysics and phenomenology of life force theory. That's what I'm doing for the moment. And that's what we're going to be speaking on next week, God willing.
Yes, we want to.
Thank you.
You will have the
hear it. That sounds so wonderful. Yeah. So now you know how to get in. I'll send you the link, and now you're not going to have any difficulty to get in. Initially, I was like, oh my God, he's not in here today. But I tell you what, all the eyes and ears will be on you next Sunday. Same time, I'm going to send you your link to join us. I think we're going to have a wonderful conversation. Thank you. And thank you for taking the time to even though you were having challenges, you still wanted to come in, at least show yourself so everybody knows who we're going to be talking to. So I want to tell all of you, you want to hear this gentleman. African spirituality is deep, African culture is deep, and there are people who have studied it, and we present them to you as much as possible. We're going to keep bringing other experts into the mix so that we can all share and hear and learn. All right. So I want to thank Chidozie Okoro, thank you so much, and we do look forward to you being here next Sunday. Dibia or Chwaja,
Yes.
on your Akumoke, no?
Thank you so much, Chidozie Okoro. Like Okedibia said, we are really looking forward to dialoguing with you next Sunday. Make sure that we have the time frame correct.
Absolutely.
The floor is yours on Sunday. You have an hour to educate us all and bring us up to speed.
Yes.
What we need to know and appreciate about Igbo metaphysics and our spiritual culture. So thank you so much for taking the time to at least make it into the show and let us know that you're with us and that you're ready to go. So thank you so much. Yeah, guys, here.
Thank you. And I want to thank Ukuna Charles as always. Thank you. Kalfani Kwame Anu, thank you for being here. Nosferatu, of course, she gives us lots of hand clap for today. Matt Lewis, thank you for joining us. Off the dribble on the court, thank you very much. And there are other people that I don't know I can't see their names. Chism Live Global Faith Ministries and Chism Live on YouTube. And until we meet again, I pray that everybody will be safe. And remember, give thanks to the Almighty. Give thanks to Chineke for this thing called life. That's the beginning of love. And so it is. Yagazienu. Kemesia.
Yagazia.
All right.
Bye-bye.
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 All right.